do you get to top page?
There's the million-dollar question.
The $1 million question. What is the top things businesses can actually do to be found on Google?
I think when I answer that question for people, I always try and get them to think about the Google's angle on it, right? So Google is a monumentally big American public company, right? They only make money from advertising. You don't pay to get SEO or anything. You don't. You know, you might pay a consultant, but you don't. Google doesn't charge for it, right? So their primary goal is to make money. They're a public company. That's what they do. So they are interested in making sure they get the maximum number of ads clicked on, right? In order to do that, they have to get people to look at the ads in the first place, right? So the only reason people use Google is because it generally works, right? So if it didn't work, then people wouldn't use it, and so they wouldn't be able to show you any ads, right? So if you think the fundamental reason, like the interest is for Google, is to get ad traffic, right? They've got to make sure the underlying Google results work in the first place. So if you think about it like that, then Google needs to make sure that it satisfies its customers. So its customers are me and you who type into Google something. So all it's trying to do is find the most important or relevant result for what has been typed in. So if I type in, best Italian restaurant in Sydney, and Google, the search bot, shows up all these websites that, are Italian restaurants in Brisbane or Melbourne and so on, then the person who typed in the query is then going to maybe go to Yahoo or, Dogpile. But 20 years ago, there was hundreds of them.
What's Yahoo?
Yeah, exactly, right? Or Bing or so on. So if you just think like Google needs, it has to show a relevant result, right? So from a business's point of view, in order to get that first page ranking that everybody wants, you have to ask yourself, am I the legitimate, best, most important Italian restaurant in Sydney? And so if you're not, it doesn't matter how much good SEO and how much you pay to the web development company and so on. You actually just need to be the business. And then the website is just a matter of portraying that.
But is it like what contributes to being found? Like, I know this is a little bit on the SEO, but is it like writing blogs more often? Is it like getting more reviews on Google? Like, what are some of the little tips?
I'll say, like, go back to what I was just saying about like look like the business. So if you are an Italian restaurant that is constantly getting 1-star reviews, Google knows you're not the best one, right? So it doesn't matter how much good SEO.
Or is the best one to take a bad date to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. So if you type in, maybe if you type in the worst Italian restaurant and you're all one star, then you go. So it's so much more about the actual business itself than what you've written on your website. Because people like us, we can write anything on a website and we can make it all very technically clever and But Google is looking for what's called third-party validation to say, well, these other 500 people in the market all said your Italian food is rubbish. So don't tell me it's good on your website because clearly it's not.